Ziad Maalouf, who is responsible for Radio RFI.
I see the heads of some French people. It's not the language I speak the best, but it's easier for our two panelists because they are Arabic speaking and they will express themselves in English. So if I ask my questions in French and they need to listen to their headphones in order for them to understand my question, it takes a lot of time. We're going to talk today about tools and practices of participatory journalism. And with the example of radio. Is radio an example in this field? Certainly not. Yeah, in a way, yes, because interacting with audience is very natural for the radio with a very simple and old tool that is called telephone. But still, it's limited to certain shows. Telephone needs live, and some of the radio is not live. And there are produced shows that use the telephone and interact with audiences, but they cheat because they say call us, but they already set things with the audience in order for them to call, whereas they're not live. But use of telephone is usually live, and of course, all of you know that there are new tools that can be very effective in order to communicate and exchange ideas with the audience. Tools like Twitter, tools like Facebook. Twitter is very, very efficient for live interaction. And same problem with, as the telephone, it's not very, very useful for not live interaction. Facebook is more complicated. The problem with Facebook is that everyone can set the privacy of his own interaction. So even on a Facebook page, sometimes you can post a comment, and if you have very, very limited access to what you publish, some people that interact on the same page will not see what you said, and it's only the administrators that will see, or your friends. So Facebook, but we're certainly not going to speak that precisely, and since and Facebook and Twitter and any other service evolve all the time, it's not going to be very interesting to discuss this kind of details. Still, with the internet, the relationship to the audience has changed in every kind of media, and all media has tried to adapt, and we're going to talk about this topic with our two panelists. The first is Khair and Nsour. Hello. Hi. You talk in the microphone. You work in Yemen. You are general manager of Yemen Times Radio. I went to Yemen a long time ago. Yeah, I went twice, but the first time I went was in 2000. I was, do you hear me well? Yeah? I was a student at that time, and I was doing a thesis, kind of thesis on abduction of tourists in Yemen. At that time, it was kind of a funny sport. Since then, there has been Islamists and jihadists, and it's not a funny sport anymore.
You haven't been abducted?
No, I haven't been abducted. Not yet, and hopefully not in the future. At that time, that's why I'm saying this, Yemen Times was my main source, because I'm a very bad Arabic reader, and it was a very good source, very useful for all the people who don't speak Arabic and want to have good information on Yemen. It was at that time already very good on the internet. You could access almost everything they had published. It's still on the internet. Maybe it's a little old-fashioned now because they were very good at the beginning, and now when you visit the website, it looks a little old, but things can change, of course. And at that time, there was no radio.
No radio.
No radio.
Yes,
the
no radio.
Radio Yemen Times is very recent, no?
2012. 2011, 2012, yes.
I think 2012 can be considered very recent.
Very recent,
Yeah.
yes, that's right.
Maybe you can You have prepared a presentation, yeah?
Yeah, I also have a small video. I
Oh,
hope
what do you
share
think?
it with.
Should we show the video first, or you want to talk before?
Well, I will just give them a small background about Yemen.
Okay, you
And
need to
then-
speak in the microphone, huh?
Nearer than this.
Yeah,
Okay.
if you move your
So-
head, you move the microphone with
With
you.
you.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm not sure how many people knows about Yemen here. Yemen is an Arab country in the Gulf states, but it's not like Gulf states. It's a very poor country facing many problems. Many of you maybe heard about Al-Qaeda and Yemen. Unfortunately, this is the shaping, or this is what you can say, image of Yemen around the world. But Yemen has much better than that to offer to the world. For us, we are like Yemen Times, established in 1991. We started as like for print media. We had a newspaper in English, and we wanted to open a radio, but unfortunately the state's manipulation, let's say, didn't allow us to open any. There is no private radios in Yemen. In 1999, there was almost pushing hard to open a private radio station, but unfortunately, founder died before making his dream alive in a suspicious car accident. In 2011, with the Arab Spring, we could manage to play on the powers, different powers in Yemen, and we decided to open a radio without a license from the government.
And
Thank God. Yes.
what you're not saying, and correct me if I'm wrong, whereas Yemen Time is mainly or entirely in English, your radio is in Arabic. In
Yes,
Arabic.
exactly.
And that's probably very important to say and to explain.
Exactly. In Yemen, unfortunately, around 60 to 70% of the people are illiteracy. They cannot read and write. So that's why radio and TV is a very important thing. And that's why the government refused until now to give any license for radios. However, we found that it's important to reach to the people, normal people, and we found that it's a huge difference with interactive things. So we have Facebook, Twitter, but again, if you have 70% of literacy, that means imagine how much people can access to the internet and use an internet or use a computer. So radio still, I think, is number one in the media to reach to people and interact with them. We also support, we have like the SMS service, which they can contact us SMS. But as a community radio station, we still want to open phone calls for them. It's better, it's easier, and we don't earn money from that. Instead, sometimes if phone calls cut off, we call them back on our account. So we're trying to do that. If Ms. Noor can play, I prepared a small video. Unfortunately, it's in Arabic with their subtitles in English, but I wanted to tell you how we found that people on radio can make a big difference in life.
Since it's in Arabic, maybe you can comment.
Yeah, I will comment
so
on
that
that.
the translators
Yes,
can translate
exactly.
what you
So
say, okay?
maybe-
علينا تطلي وتشركي وصوتك
You can stand if you
يغني
like.
ويقول أجمل كلام محبة القلب أنت منا تملكي يا كلمة حق
Is this you
وحرية لكل إنسان
أتمنى أشوف اليمن في المستقبل بحلة جديدة وتطور كبير، ويا رب عبر راديو يمن تايمز تتكاتف أصوات اليمنيين جميعا وكلامهم يوصل ويغير اليمن نحو الأفضل.
So we started our
هناك
first
أناس يعرفون
community
ما هو
base
معنى
with
البرد.
almost in winter, and many people who are
أطفال
poor
ينتظرون
try
مسحة
to
جود منكم.
collect clothes, blankets
عائلات
and distribute for
أهمها
poor
أن
people.
تدفع هذا الشيء.
The nice thing is that we had almost 100% of these youth guys which helped us to distribute this for free. It was like a really community service.
يمنا بحاجة الإنجاز عشان نغير، ويمنا بحاجة الإصرار عشان ننمي.
By the way, we
عشان
are
كده
like
ضروري
gender
نتشارك
balanced. We
ونعمل.
try to encourage women to participate more in our radio. The other project we try to do that it's like cleaning where the rain is flowing out because we had many floods. So we try to clean the streets so the rains will not concern big problems, make big problems for people to live in. And this another one of the historical place in Yemen is Sana'a, old Sana'a, and it's in I think you call it UNICEF historical places. And we try to plant trees and try to clean it to keep it, because it was threatened that they will remove it from the historical places in the world.
أنا طبيبة وسأشارك.
أنا جندي وسأشارك.
And this one we did it with the mayor of Sana'a, and I think almost 1,000 people participate in that, just by asking them to come and put their effort to clean the streets and building a nice city. Yeah, so this is simple.
So it's participatory for cleaning and giving blankets, and it's for social action mainly. Yeah, grab the microphone. So if you go back in history, in 2012 you started the radio.
We started the radio as
and where is it?
It's in Sana'a. It's a community based in Sana'a.
So you broadcast only in Sana'a?
Only in Sana'a at the moment. We're trying to open other new radio stations in different cities, but still, because of like some problems with the government, with the license, until now we are not licensed. So it's not easy to challenge the government every time.
And what kind of that's the use you see in participatory, like having social action and gathering people in order to do social action, or do you see other uses in participatory, or do you have people participate in other ways?
Well, to be honest, we found that people want to work, but they are so afraid of the political parties, which is like, because every political party wants to get the profit of the success of the campaign to themselves. And we found that because we are independent, we are not linked to any political party, many of them just came to us and saying, we are willing to do any kind of community thing we are doing. There are many projects they are applying for us. We have limited capacity at the moment, and I hope we are trying to open like a club for our listeners, which we can interact with them. We have a small NGO also can work with them in that. So this is one of the ways we can interact with the community with that.
And do you have interactions on the radio, like during the programs, or do you have people participating in programs, not in social actions?
Yeah, we opened also, we convinced the mayor, which was one of the first things happened in Yemen, to come on a daily morning show. To
the mayor?
The mayor, yes, of Sana'a.
Okay.
And to come and listen to the people and how he can solve their problems.
And how can he listen to the people? How do you have people
we
talk?
we opened the telephones for them to participate directly to him, and he was really helping us. And like it was like the first time it happened in Sana'a. Even state radio station didn't do it. And we have the daily program which we put one of the ideas, and we discuss it with the participants for 1.5 hours. At the beginning, it was difficult to let them start working, contact us, but at this time, we had to take off the phone calls because to stop them calling us. We also take their feedback through Facebook and Twitter so that we can know what they want and what we want to discuss. But it's a community radio station. It's for them. It's not for us. And also, it's an NGO. So we didn't open it for profit, more as serving the people which we are living in.
Do you have other ways you use Facebook and Twitter, or are they useful in Sana'a? Are they useful to reach people or to have people interact with you? Do you have a large audience on Twitter or Facebook there?
To be honest, the best thing is Facebook and Twitter with the youth. Youth are very active on the Facebook and Twitter. So it's nice that you can access to them. You can tell them what we are doing. We have good number of followers on our Facebook. We also linked our Facebook with the Facebook of the mayor so that we have interact between us and
with
him.
The mayor?
Yes.
Your Facebook is linked to the Facebook of the mayor?
Exactly, yes.
Okay.
So that's very nice. So we found that people want to change and willing to participate, but they are afraid of the political things, that they don't want to be affiliated to any political party. And this is very nice. And they want really to serve their country. Yes, there is problems, there is al-Qaeda, but I think in this way we can change Yemen, we can improve Yemen, and people willing to participate in helping things.
Are there questions on what we already said? Do someone want to have a precision? Yeah? Sébastien, there? I know the names of everyone here. Thank you.
In French.
I've worked more in the radio field, so I would have a question on radio. What is more difficult, the technical part, the administrative part with the authorities? I'm talking about the broadcasting rights, the editorial line. What's the biggest challenge? Thank you.
At the moment, we are facing a problem with the technical side because there's some technical engineers in Yemen, but because they are working with the state, and they cannot come to help us because they're saying they could be punished by the state because we don't have a license yet. So most important thing is the technical side, which we are facing in that. Yes.
I have a question.
Yeah, of course.
You started an Arabic radio inside an English newspaper. What is your relationship to the newspaper? What is your relationship to those who write in the newspaper? What kind of consideration they have to the radio? Do they interact? Do they want to participate? Do they think that it's yeah?
So frankly, for us, whoever working in the newsroom, he should work for the newspaper and the radio. Yes.
So you all have to be perfect in English.
And we have some translations, and we have some foreigners working for us as copy editors to help in the English version. But we don't hire anyone who is not willing to work for both and also for online.
And how do you do with the two languages? Like, if you send someone do a radio report, do you do this?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Do you use it afterwards on the website or on the newspaper?
Yes, exactly.
Yeah? How?
We had good training, frankly, with Dutch Welle, DW from Germany, which they helped us a lot in that. They sent some experts for us how to link both of them. So whoever going to the field making a radio report, he knows that he should come back and also write the report for the newspaper, and that's very nice. We're trying to implement the new ideas like in Europe and US and implement it in our newsroom. Yes, thank you.
Our second,
yes,
you want to say something?
Yeah, I just want to say that I need to thank everyone who support us in establishing the radio.
Yes.
Like we have Sweden, SIDA, I'm not sure if you know SIDA,
Yeah,
Sweden people about
yeah.
Open Society Foundation and
George Soros.
George Soros, exactly. And so many people really, when they heard about our radio and our mission, helped us in that. And I really want to thank him for supporting us.
Thank you. Hello, Mohammed. Mohammed Abu Janah.
Yes.
That's how you pronounce
Finally,
it.
someone has.
Huh?
Finally, someone has said the name right.
Oh, thank you. You are manager of Radio Shabab.
Yes.
Shabab in Arabic means youth. So it's Shabab. Can you? You already talked about the radio. Do you want him to explain maybe a few words on the radio, the project? It's a very young radio as well.
We started at April 2011.
So it's 2 years old exactly.
Yeah,
almost exactly. Yes,
almost. And it was the idea was driven by the huge event that happened in Libya. And the revolution at February 2011 and the sudden feel of achievement.
But you started before the end of Gaddafi's regime, is that correct?
Yeah, yeah. 2 months after the revolution.
But you were in Benghazi, which was freed early.
It's everyone was like contributing to the revolution. Some went to the front line, some stayed in the city and started like structuring and everything. Lots of young guys went into media and tried to establish a newspaper, because it was easier that time with all the print house that we have like 5 or 6 big print house, and they like will print for free at that time.
Yes.
Just to contribute to the revolution and do something and express the people opinion about everything.
And you decided to go for the radio.
Yeah. So me and my friends, me and my 2 of my friends, best friends, wanted to do something something new, something different than everyone. And we discussed the possibility of starting a radio station. And we felt like that the youth at that time has not really achieved the role that they should do. And just writing in newspaper is not enough. So letting them speak and letting them operate a media house will be something to do.
And did you or your friend have a radio background?
No.
No.
I was volunteer with the first radio station that established during the revolution.
Libya Al-Hurra?
Libya Al-Hurra FM.
Yes.
Which was the first radio station, and then there was Libya Al-Hurra AM, a few hours between them, and it was a huge thing to be with them and to participate in radio and media for the first time in my life.
And Libya Al-Hurra was more for grown-up people.
Yeah, it's like because they are come from old school radio, so they have their standard, and they have like it's more revolutionary radio station broadcast.
And pre-Green Revolution music, like music from the 50s and the 60s.
Yeah. But the idea of Shabab Libya is to go out of this traditional style, you know. We wanted something new, we wanted something that speaks for the youth. And I think we have succeeded in this pretty much, because we were playing every kind of music. Not every kind, but...
so it's mainly a musical radio?
It was musical because that's the style of the youth. That's what they like to hear, you know. But we had some, we call them nuggets programs, you know, like
you call them, sorry?
Nuggets.
Nuggets. Ah, nuggets.
Like 20
chicken McNuggets.
20, yeah.
Okay.
Like 20 minutes pre-recorded programs that speaks about something. We have programs speaks about civil society. We have programs speaks about the democratic situation. We have a video that...
Yes, just before the video, you broadcast FM, or do you broadcast on the internet? Or
at the beginning, it was FM. And then
at the beginning, FM?
Yeah.
Okay.
And then we developed into... because at the beginning of the revolution, it was hard to get internet access.
Okay. Usually it's the opposite. At the beginning, it's on the internet, and then it becomes FM.
We were lucky enough to have the opposite way, you know. So...
so same... it's in Arabic?
Yeah. It's in Arabic. We will not gonna play it all.
Okay.
But there are certain portions that is good to see. Yes, please.
So it's you here?
Yeah.
You
that's the cabinet. We call it studio. Okay. That's the guys. That's me and my best friend.
It's you?
Yeah. Can you imagine? All of those guys were like just friends and people we knew during the revolution, at the beginning of the revolution. Here it is.
You were in a school?
Yes.
Yes.
We started at school, local school.
Did the school reopen, or?
Yeah, after that.
Okay.
They kicked us out.
They kicked you out?
Yeah.
And now?
Those old young guys who they are presenters.
تنادى مجموعة من شباب هذا الوطن وهذه المدينة.
So 101.1 is your frequency
من أجل المشاركة في بناء وطنهم من خلال العمل الجماعي المنظم في مجال الإعلام الحر. وجاء برنامج مساحة حرة كأول برنامج إذاعة يوم الثلاثاء 10 من مايو 2011. ومنها أصبح عدد البرامج في تزايد بفضل الله أولاً، ثم بفضل مثابرة واجتهاد الشباب الليبي الطموح. تميزت إذاعة شباب ليبيا FM ببرامجها المنوعة، كما أن ضيوف القناة أضفوا عليها طابع مميز، فكانوا ضيوفها من كل مكان ومن كل ضيف.
We have a lot of famous Libyan figures that actually accepted our invitation to be on our radio.
حرصت القناة على التواصل مع جمهورها الكريم، فكان موقع التواصل الاجتماعي الفيسبوك وسيلة فعالة لتحقيق التواصل. كما ساهم البث المباشر وتلقي الاتصالات الهاتفية من الجمهور في تطوير أداء
Most of those guys has no technical skills and they just trained at the radio. And then we moved on to another place where we got some funding and we upgraded our workspace and moved into a rental apartment that we actually managed to do a better job. This is the new studio.
وليس هذا فحسب.
Okay.
بل أن الكوادر العاملة ازدادت أيضا.
Maybe we can leave it behind and talk about participation.
Yes, of course.
Unless there is something you want to comment.
No, it's almost over.
Okay, cool.
It's almost over.
So, we understand that it's a very young radio, and it's a radio built by people.
Most of those who are with the who work at the radio station are between the age of 20 to 30. We had only one person, one staff that he's a teacher at the local faculty of media, and he's like 35 or something. Other than that, most of our people are volunteers working on non-for-profit. And
what about? We understand that it's a very young media started by people who are not professional.
Yes.
What about participation, participatory ideas with
they are from the local community. We have Syrians with us. We have Palestinians.
How do you do things? Is your radio open to anyone? Is it difficult to open? How do you interact?
No, it's very easy. First, we scheduled the program cycle for 3 months, and then we ask for whoever has a proposal for a program.
Okay, so you schedule room for programs, not determining what kind of program, and then you fill it in with propositions.
With propositions, yeah. That's when our station got stolen.
Oh.
Yeah.
By whom?
We don't know yet. So, but we managed to get
in French we call it omerta.
Omerta.
Omerta means we don't say things publicly.
Yes. So whoever wants to participate in the radio and do something with us, he can just come up with his proposal and say, I want to do blah 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 blah, and then we introduce him to the standards that we have. And maybe apply him to a test to see whether he will fit on radio or not, whether he needs more training or not. Some of them has some experience in radio before. They came in and they wanted to participate. So
the audience can basically come and participate to the radio directly. And how do you deal with the audience that doesn't want to produce radio? How do you interact with them?
We have several programs.
Okay.
Okay. At the beginning, it was pre-recorded. All what's broadcasted was pre-recorded, so we couldn't really interact lively. But we had some programs that actually go to the street and ask people for their opinion.
You had no programs live at the beginning?
At the beginning.
Because it was technically too complicated, or because it was...
due to a technical and due to our decision that people needs to get on the microphone more enough, so they won't make mistakes on live programs. You know, because as I told you, they are not really that good. But then after several episodes and several programs, they get better, and we decided to switch to live programs. And not all the programs have switched to live, just a selective ones.
And the programs that are live, do you have like phone open,
Yes,
Twitter?
After that we started inventing new techniques that will help us in drawing more audience. like opening call-ins shows, like having an official guest that people needs to interact with them, and that's lowered a lot of problems and removed a lot of problems, because there was, through Facebook, there was a lot of rumors against Libyan public figures. So they will come to the radio, and people will have direct contact with them very openly, very.
And it's a way for you to attract new audience. That's the purpose for you of interacting. It's attracting new audience.
Not that only, but it was one of the reasons. But
what else?
It's more like making the audience feel that that the radio is actually something that they can express themselves through, which is very good way to make them connected to the radio and not going to listening to other radios.
We've seen your Facebook page. Do you use it to interact with people?
Yes. Through programs.
I checked your Twitter. It's still quiet.
At certain times, we had difficulties. We had difficulties with the internet connection in Libya, but then when things got stable, Facebook page was interactive and was good enough to rely on, And then we started a streaming live, which made us able to.
No, it's okay. Go on.
Which made us able to communicate with Libyans abroad, in Europe and America, to be precise, those who study there, and also Libyans from other places, because we are only covering Benghazi and neighboring city.
Okay, someone wants to ask a question. Hello, you can introduce yourself if you like.
بشرى جميع المحبة radio station, voice of Iraqi women from Iraq. Actually, your story is very much like the way we did our radio station in Baghdad after the change, and we started, and we still on FM. We've been for 8 years on air. We also, after we participated in the 2011 demonstrations, the government burned the station. Yeah, and with the help of the French embassy, we managed to get another location, and we built new studios. And now, we need to make a decision that if we want to turn our radio to online, like what you did.
Yeah. And stop FM, you mean, or start online only?
We wanted to keep FM and online.
Okay.
But the situation in Iraq is very bad, in Baghdad especially, and we can see like the civil war is looming again, and also the Commission of Media is not helping us at all, because we're secular and we're independent and we're women radio station. I mean, all the things they hate.
Okay.
So we are expecting something now. My question: when you switched from FM to the website,
we added
to the internet.
We added
to the internet.
Yeah.
Did you notice that the your listeners number went down or up, or they stayed the same? Did you have a marketing or advocacy to people that meet us on the internet? What did you do to keep your audience?
Just to be clear, they never stopped broadcasting in FM.
Yes.
And it's difficult to imagine that adding a new way to broadcast your radio will diminish or will have an effect on lower your audience. It's not possible. But you can. Just to be clear, please.
Regarding just switching, we haven't switched. We just added a new service to the service that we are providing. So FM and both on the internet through a domain that's owned by the radio station. Regarding the audience, it cannot get less, because we are opening a new space. We are opening a new section that people can meet us. I would say that most of our listeners would prefer to listen to us through the internet, because they are using Facebook on the internet, and at the same time they are listening to the radio. So I would say that internet is a very friendly to radio stations, and I will argue all radio stations to start broadcasting on the internet, because having an internet stream will actually increase your revenue.
So yeah, like your advice is to keep the FM and the internet together.
Yes.
Yeah, well,
and every radio station who doesn't have an internet stream should think and should fight to have an internet stream, because with the Facebook and Twitter, everyone, like, they are on their. I have friends of mine who are at their workspace, and they are using the internet, and at the same time they are listening to our live broadcast through the internet.
Thank you.
Thank you for this question. There is another question there.
Bonjour.
Bonjour.
Hello. There's one thing that is really worrying for me. So far, we've seen only good initiatives, but when the state is absent, could there be more isn't there a danger of actually developing, seeing the development of new initiatives that could be dangerous, and people criticizing society, negative projects? How can we protect consumers who listeners who consume the information you send and you broadcast? Well, as far as we are concerned, we feel like it's the disappearance of dictatorship that freed freedom of speech. And of course, that new freedom can be controlled. In France, for instance, there are things you can say on the internet or in the media, and there are other things you cannot say, like you cannot know racism, homophobia, anti-Semitism, things like that. These are fully prohibited in France in any case. You can't broadcast anything like that. You can't even talk about it in public, by the way, in France. And which is, of course, a problem maybe for freedom of speech, but I mean, still, that's the law. And now opening the speech and giving people the speech, it might be dangerous, because, of course, there might be people who have bad projects. But I mean, still, I'll let our friends answer. But I mean, for Iraq, I mean, you've had a free radio for 8 years, and in these two cases, these are very young radios, also because those radios could not exist before, and there was no freedom of speech before, with this spirit of freedom that would have been totally impossible in both countries.
I would say that if the journalists themselves will not stick to the code of ethics of the country, or the ethics of the career itself, then no laws can really make them do such things, especially on live shows, TV or radio. This will affect all the community. Someone will just pop up and okay, he's endangering himself of getting jailed, but the word that he want to do, that he want to say, eventually will come out. So it's more about sticking to the ethics than to have a legislation. In Libya, we don't have any legislations that actually controls the media or defines the rights of the journalist, or what they, or frame their activities. So we're not really worried about that, because for the time being, everything is going all right, and we don't have any problems.
Sorry.
Yes, but you should have a long-term vision. You should have a long-term vision, and because your radios were set up very recently, but you have to think in the long term.
I just want to say that I totally agree with her that there should be kind of control. There is the government at the moment trying to make a new audio-video law for Yemen to regulate this the radio thing and TV stations. But also, unfortunately, if some radio stations are bad, we'll find American drone us with the bombs. So there's kind of control.
No,
There is direct control.
But the thing is that you don't need a legislation to behave good or bad. You know, you need a media house that is actually afraid about their repetition, more than afraid from the legislations, because legislation eventually will just jail them or something. But if a media house lost their repetition, then they will shut down forever.
Just if you speak, you need to speak in the microphone, and please be very brief because we're going to close.
I just want to. I mean, it's a good point that was raised about our safety. But I have to make it clear that we realize how much danger there is, but also we realize if we want to build democracy and freedom, there must be sacrifices. I mean, it was conscious choice that we know we are facing a great danger, but anyhow, I mean, everywhere in the world, if you want to build something, you want to build democratic system, you have to sacrifice. And we accept it. I mean, I'm talking about us, and I'm sure the same thing. Yes. We know exactly what is facing us.
I'm not sure it was the meaning of the question, but we understood very well what you mean.
For the long term, if you build good foundation, yes, and you have people to support you, the institute will continue.
Thank you very much. Thank you, all of you. Thank you for the two panelists. Of course, they'll be around for the next 2 hours, so if you want to go on discussing. You probably understood that it's everything is a work in progress. Those medias are very young, so they are still trying, improving, opening. And I can speak in the name of a very much older media, and it's the same. So the work is still in progress everywhere.
Thank you.
Merci Philippe.